Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the August 18th City Council work session, City of Gulf Shores. Thank you for being here. This is the meeting where we talk about everything we're going to be voting on next Monday. So each of these items we'll be discussing, doing a presentation. You have the opportunity to make any ask questions or make any comments, whatever you'd like. Just raise your hand. I'll invite you to the podium, give us your name, and tell us what's on your mind. So with that, Councilman Jones.
Mayor, two weeks ago, Jason kindly deferred his time to me, so I will defer back to him to see if he has anything on his mind today.
Plenty on my mind, Mayor, but I think I'll just hold my tongue at this point, and so I'll defer to the agenda. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. The first item on the agenda is a presentation of the Eco Center Summer Camp. Travis, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. It's been a while since I've presented to y'all and thought probably a good time to tell you what's been going on at the new Eco Center. For those of you that do not know me, I'm Travis Langen, Executive Director of the nonprofit organization that is managing the new Gulf Coast Eco Center for the City of Gulf Shores. So I don't know about y'all, but I got real tired of looking at renderings of this facility and was very excited for those renderings to turn into real pictures. So pretty exciting. And so it's been about 3 months since the ribbon cutting ceremony at the Eco Center, and we really hit the ground running. To quote the great Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come, and we've built it, and they are coming. And so we've had a really busy year so far, getting everything geared up for the Eco Center, and then actually running our first groups through. And so I wanted to give a little presentation about what we've been up to this year. I'll keep it brief. It's all just images, pretty pictures, and if y'all have any questions, let me know. But the first thing that was completed at the center was our new ropes course. There was almost $500,000 allocated in the restore budget for our new aerial adventure course. And the city's own IT department was the first group to go up on the new ropes course. And they were kind of our guinea pigs. They all made it back down, which was pretty cool. And then our second group that we had was Chief Nettenmeyer, and some of his folks went up on the course. And it was really fun having them up there. Shortly after, the Police Association announced a $3,000 donation to our scholarship fund. And so that donation was able to give a full ride for 8 kids for our summer camp, so our July summer camp. So we really appreciate the Police Association for that. And invite any other associations in the community to make similar contributions in the future. So shameless plug there. We've also been running, this is all before summer, but we were running kind of our guinea pig groups through Gulf Shores High School, Gulf Shores Middle School. All had a chance to get up on the course, and man, is it fun. And since then, we've had maybe close to 400 people up on the course just in the last about 5 months, so 4 or 5 months. So it's been really neat having that as a new asset. One of the first large groups that we have was Gulf Shores Gives Back, and the students from the ROTC department came and did a bunch of service projects for us. It's about 90 students that worked all day long, and they helped fill all of our raised beds in our gardens so that by summertime we had a beautiful garden for us to eat from and teach from. And so we thank that Gulf Shores City Schools and really love the Gulf Shores Gives Back program. I think this week or next we're having our first kickoff meeting for 2026 Gulf Shores Gives Back, and hope to continue to expand our contributions to that program. The first real big group we had that we hosted was actually Gulf Shores, all 3 of Gulf Shores football teams, plus the fire department. This was about 4 days after the ribbon cutting ceremony. And so we had to move all of the nice, elegant furniture out and bring all the picnic tables and put down tablecloths and stuff. And I knew when the first tray of crawfish fell on the floor and scattered juices all over the place that we were finally breaking into place. And I think I still have lingering wafts of crawfish in some of the corners of our of our big pavilion there. And then 2 days after that crawfish boil, we hosted our first conference. So it was a youth leadership conference. About 120 teachers and students from around the state came for a 2-day conference down to Gulf Shores, and we were able to host them. So we had 5 of our different classroom, different breakout sessions, and we hosted all sorts of different concurrent sessions with different topics of sustainability and leadership and education. And poured rain the first day. I mean, poured rain. So we were unable to get outside and do much, but we all hunkered down. The facility did great at hosting all of them. And we hosted a really nice meal, fed all of them, and they all said, we'll be back next year. So hopefully we'll continue hosting conferences and bring in kids from across the state to enjoy this new facility as well. Second day, the weather was nice. We were able to take them on bike rides, did the ropes course and stuff like that. We've also been working with the University of South Alabama, hosted their leadership team for a 1-day retreat, and we look forward to continue working with South to create a pipeline of students and other programs. We're actually writing some grants in partnership with South to be able to fund students from across Baldwin and Mobile counties to come to our program. Hosted the Garden Club. They were generous to donate some fruit trees that the kids from the elementary school planted for us. So we're hoping to get a whole food forest going at the new campus. And then summer came, and these are the teachers from the Gulf Shores Elementary and Middles that worked their summer program there. This is our 5th year of running partnership programs with Gulf Shores City School System. And so we hired a summer team. We had 2 new staff and all other returning staff. And 2 weeks of staff training, and boom, we hit the ground running. This was about 2 days after when summer started for these kids. And so these are Gulf Shores middle school students it was on the last year of a grant that enabled these kids to come to a 5-week summer camp for free. Pretty cool. We took them into the Gulf. We took them surfing. The Gulf Shores Middle School, Mr. Prince from the middle school actually built surfboards that the kids were able to get out there and learn how to surf on. We added a couple of our own boards to it. And so this was our first year we added surfing. Gulf Shores City Schools invested in new kayaks, so we were able to keep our operational costs down by using Gulf Shores City Schools kayaks. So they've got a great fleet for their Science by the Shore program. We're able to go on a couple different kayaks with the middle school there. They've also been investing in bicycles, and so we were able to take advantage of all the great stuff that Gulf Shores City Schools have been doing and just contribute with all of our programming in our new facility here. We went to Admiral Oyster Company, and the kids were able to learn how the oysters are raised. We did a bunch of exploring in Gulf State Park. They did the ropes course. And then the elementary kids also came. So K through 5th grade students from Gulf Shores Elementary 3 days a week would bus over to our campus, and we were able to do lots of different programs with the elementary school. Really neat, because a lot of these kids we've been working with for the last 5 or 6 years. And so they finally are able to see the campus they've been hearing me talk about. We had a bunch of guest speakers. We had a beekeeper. We had a mushroom grower. We had the state park naturalists bring their raptors in for the kids. We did storytelling. Sometimes it was so hot outside, all we could do was just hang out inside and play games and do music and stuff like that. We brought the kids on field trips, took them to the new recycling center in Gulf Shores. So the kids got to see when you throw something away, where is away? Where does all that stuff go to when you put it in the trash or in the recycling? And if you haven't had a chance, it's a really cool new interpretive center for those kids. They got a chance to play around and learn about a bunch of stuff there. Took them to the beach, took them to the pier. They did beach cleanups. They were able to help maintain our garden, harvest things, eat things. A lot of kids eating things fresh off the vine they've never had before. They all had a chance to eat cookies baked in our sun oven, plenty of sun over the summer. And so those cookies baked in about 10 minutes in that sun oven. Pretty cool. And then a lot of exploring. A lot of these kids feel like this is their camp, and that's what we want. We want them to instill a sense of pride so that when they bring their families back for a program, we want them to say, hey, I planted that tree. And over the years, they'll watch it grow and grow. We did a lot of art programs, took them down to the beach, went to Lake Shelby. A lot of kids ate corn on the cob, fresh off the cob for the first time. These little kids didn't know that corn came from a plant. We made pickles. So I think we probably made upwards of 600 jars of pickles this summer. So fresh Baldwin County grown pickles. I would spend my weekends going to every farmer's market in the county, picking up all the freshest pickles, and the kids had a chance to make their own blend of pickles. Oh, this picture I love. This is all the pickles going back to the school from one of the elementary school groups. Yeah, so we had a really, really good fun summer, and the facility was just incredible and perfect for all of the different programs and activities that we were able to do. We then, come July, transitioned away from the Gulf Shores City Schools camp to our own independent, open to the public golf camp. This is our 6th year offering golf camp to the community. So a lot of kids, local kids that are on vacation or visiting grandparents come to our 5-day golf camp. We offer it for 4 weeks in July. We do a lot of the same activities as the middle school and elementary school, but we expand the offerings as well because there are a lot of repeat kids. So we did a lot of ceramics this year, pottery. The kids made their own clay pots, got a chance to paint them and plant plants in them that we grew in our garden. It's really neat because a lot of the kids have been waiting for their younger sibling to be old enough to come to golf camp. So we have a lot of sibling pairs, a lot of cousin pairs and stuff coming to the camp. Do a lot of biking. That's probably our big marquee program. Tons of biking through the state park. The kids are able to explore different parts of the park. We did about upwards of 8 to 9 miles per bike ride with the kids. And it gives them such a sense of independence, gives them something healthy to do, get off the computers and get outside during the summer. It's really neat seeing all these kids really light up in this environment. Of course, we ate a ton of watermelon to keep hydrated, and kids had a good old time. Of course, it's hot out there, and so the kids would come back, and this is a typical scene after our typical bike ride. And it's amazing that, they zonk out, and 10 minutes later, they're up and ready to go on the ropes course again. So it doesn't take long for those kids to rebound. A lot of kids didn't want to bike, and so they get a chance to do a bunch of other different activities, a lot of nature-based activities. Cooking. This is a spread that some of the kids made for the kids that were on the bike ride. So when they came back from the bike ride, voila, they've been working, making all this fresh fruit and, different things for them to enjoy, fresh lemonade. So eating is a really important part of the camp. A couple days we had to cancel programs to the beach, and so because of bad weather, but then weather cleared up, we've got a cistern in our garden and are able to run sprinklers out of that rainwater collected cistern and have a lot of fun. So we brought the beach to the camp instead. We do not if there's lightning, we stay inside, but if it's just a little sprinkle, we'll go on hikes and stuff with the kids, or we just play games inside. We just received a $100,000 grant this year from the Drax Foundation, so really excited to put some of that money to buying our own fleet of kayaks and expand the bikes that we've got at our campus. Typical day at the lake during the summer. I mean, who wouldn't want to spend their summers at the lake playing around like this? We created a fishing program this summer. So one of our staff members is a real avid fisherman, and he worked for the state park a couple years ago teaching fishing at the pier. And so a lot of kids were catching fish for the first time. So first fish ever caught. A lot of kids are going to the beach maybe for the first time. So fun beach days. Kids are standing up on surfboards. We had someone from the Tourism Bureau come and take some photos for us. So we've got now not just everything you've seen prior to that were my photos from my camera, but my cell phone. But these are actually professional photos that we're going to be able to use in some of our marketing and stuff like that moving forward. So so only the cool kids have these golf camp shirts and these summer shirts, but we figured you guys are cool enough. So all the council members are going to get their own golf camp shirts today. And go ahead and wear them proudly. We've got Gulf Shores City School ones and golf camp ones. And so Kevin Corcoran, Dr. Aiken, Dr. Harrison, you're all going to get a shirt too because you guys helped get those kids here to that camp. So lots of golf camp shirts here if anyone wants to come and grab one. But we thank y'all. Fall and beyond, we've got a bunch of different groups lined up for the fall and just can't wait for this to become an integral part of our community. So thanks for all the hard work that you put into this, and thanks for all the community support that we've had.
Every now and then, we'll have a good idea and things like that happen. So Travis, thank you for doing that, and thanks for the community for supporting. We see our kids learn about nature that way, they will grow up appreciating it like we do, and hopefully they will learn to do a better job than we've done to protect it and take care of it. That's the goal of this whole camp, is to create an understanding and a future that sustains our environment like it is. It's why we all live here. So thank you, Travis, and thank you for that presentation. Jenny, I'll let you top that.
So I have a riveting presentation that's going to top that for sure, to talk about our traffic signals in the city. So I brought with me today Jody Brown. She's the Director of Business Development for the Southern Lighting and Traffic Signals. They help us manage all of our signals. And Mike Collins. Mike is the heartbeat of our traffic signals here in Gulf Shores. So we're going to tell you a little bit about how our traffic signals operate. So we use a system called the Centrax control system, and it's sort of the brains of our traffic signals. It takes all the data that we give it. We input historical pattern-based time of day plans into that system. It uses the adaptive signal control systems that our cameras feed into that, and it helps us regulate the timing for our traffic signals. So like I mentioned, it uses adaptive signal control. So it dynamically adjusts the timing of our signals based on how many cars are sitting at the intersection at any given moment in time. So it uses real-time traffic data in order to do that. That helps us keep traffic moving faster and reduces congestion. So hopefully you're not sitting at a red light when no one is coming in the opposite directions. That's the goal. We do use some historical pattern-based time of day plans to predict what that traffic's going to look like. Some of our intersections have upwards of 30 plans built into them based on different traffic patterns, different times of day, different days of the week, and how that traffic can vary. It does prioritize emergency vehicles. We have emergency preemption in our fire trucks so that the signal will detect if a fire truck is coming and automatically turn that light green for them. It will talk to the next signal down the line and go ahead and turn that light green to move our fire trucks through the system as fast as possible to reduce some of our response times for our firefighters. And not only that, but it gives us a lot of detailed insight into how many vehicles are moving through our intersection, which direction they're going, what they're doing at any given time of day, any day of the week. So that system needs data from other systems to be able to see traffic coming. We use the EVO radar detection system on all of our intersections. So this is a forward fire radar technology system that detects vehicles approaching the intersection. Most of our intersections have two of these little black boxes that you see on the screen, one on each corner of the intersection. They have a 110-degree field of view, so they can detect two sides of traffic coming at them at any given time. And they can detect vehicles up to 900 feet before they actually reach the intersection. This is one of the top technologies available to us to use for detecting vehicles. It detects vehicles when they reach the stop bar and sends that information to say, hey, there is a vehicle actually stopped here right now. It also detects them in advance. So we can set the parameters on that, and about 900 feet before they get to the intersection, 500 feet, it'll detect them, and it can send that information to the system to say, hey, there's a vehicle approaching. You might want to think about turning their light green. And then it also detects the vehicles as they depart the intersection. So it can say that car went straight, that car turned left, that car turned right, and it's clear of the intersection now. So that's the technology that we currently have at all of our intersections. We have been selected for the state of Alabama to demo a technology called DERQ. DERQ. And it uses upgraded technologies, and really one of the selling points for us for the DERQ technology is its ability to recognize pedestrians and integrate the pedestrian movements in with the rest of our signal infrastructure. So we're the first city in the state of Alabama to have that technology. It's been installed down at Beach Boulevard and Highway 59 for a couple of months now, and we've been collecting some data, giving it a trial, seeing how it's working, seeing how it connects to all of our other systems. And Jody's going to give us a little more information on that.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having us here today. I'm glad that I could join Jenny to try and make traffic fun for everyone. So I'll do my best following that amazing presentation. But just know what we're doing is keeping all of those folks safe and keeping them coming here to the beautiful city of Gulf Shores. So yes, so this is another form of detection. I think I'm doing something wrong. There we go. All right. I'm with Southern Lighting and Traffic Systems, and our corporate office is out of Georgia. I actually live just across the bay in Mobile, so I spend a lot of time here myself. We also provide the EVO system to the city and have been doing that for many years, and work closely with the Centrac system, the Econolite Centrac system. But what we're talking about today is another form of detection. And as Jenny said, the traffic management system that the city is using depends on the data that it receives. And so the more data we can give it and the better data, the better the output and the better the performance. So DERQ is an AI-based system. Hold on, nobody gets scared, it is not ChatGPT. So first of all, DERQ has been around for about 8 years, as you'll see here. It is an MIT spinoff, and they currently have installations in about 40 different cities around the country. And so it's been in use for quite a long time. It is a proven technology. It's been tested and approved by FHWA. In fact, they just won a major award through FHWA as one of the only privately owned companies in this safety competition. Their mission, I think this is most important, is to eliminate road fatalities and power the future of safer, smarter roadways. So that's why we're here today, and that's what we're trying to accomplish. This is about roadway safety, not only getting you where you want to go as fast as you want to get there, but getting you there safely and everyone around you. So what this technology does, and don't worry, most of what I have are videos, and it's going to show you your actual intersection here, so bear with me. So this is what we're doing. This is a next generation traffic detection system. So it's going to detect the vehicles, trucks, and cars, but also the vulnerable road users. So those are your pedestrians, your bicycles, anyone that's outside of a vehicle trying to be mobile. This system gives real-time safety insights. It's going to report on crashes. It's going to show near misses, which is very important these days, so that we can address any safety issues before there's an actual incident. Violations, so it can also help address areas where maybe that there are issues that could happen if they're not addressed with maybe more signage or more policing. And also wrong way detection, which these days is very important. As you know, when you have a lot of folks coming in from out of town, it's easy to turn down the wrong direction on a street, and that can be extremely dangerous. So this is also going to provide connected vehicle alerts. So thinking towards the future, this is where it's at. We've all heard it. AI, connected vehicles in the roadways, and this is providing that. And so with your Travel Safely app, we also integrate with that. And then it's also providing traffic insights. So automated incident detection, meaning if a car is stopped in the road, if there is a collision somewhere, we can actually give real-time alerts directly to 911, to dispatch, to the traffic control center, either the state traffic control center. We could get alerts for the roadways to your engineers and to your traffic control too. So it's real time. It also provides counts, classifications, turning movements. I know you guys think, oh, don't care. That's where the money comes from. So the cool thing is, not only is it providing that level of safety on your roadway, it's generating the reports and capturing the data necessary in order to qualify for all of these SMART grants for Vision Zero, preventing deaths. So that's very important, that it's helping pay for itself essentially and helping get it installed in additional locations. So we're going to talk about AI. Clearly, AI improves a lot of things. It does remove the human element, but when we say that this system is an AI-based or a machine learning-based system, we do not mean that it is going to put AI into the traffic controller or into the traffic system. The point is, this software is developed to identify different objects and predict what's going to happen, and make safety changes, or again, alerts based on what's going to happen. But that's done outside of the controller, and that's done by the manufacturer. So they're taking in these inputs of what is detected out in the field. These different objects is what we call them, because it's everything. It could be an animal. It could be anything that's in the roadway moving, and it says, what is this? Teach me what this is. Oh, now I know what this is at this intersection, but I may identify it differently at a different intersection. So I just want you to understand how AI is being used. Again, not inside the system or inside the cabinet, but AI is being used to help develop identification for the specific detection required at each intersection independently. So it's very high, it's very accurate. I want you to look at the pictures down at the bottom. You can see in low light areas, it can easily see not only the cars. If you look at the second picture to the right, it sees the two vehicles that are there at the stop bar, but it also sees that pedestrian that's crossing where they're not supposed to be, by the way. Back behind, it shows their movement and direction, and it knows it's a person. Now, you and I probably, if we were at a TMC, if we were looking at cameras, we probably wouldn't even know that that was a person walking through, unless we happen to catch those legs. So that's where AI really helps us. It's seeing things where we can't. So this is just kind of an overview, everything that's used in order to operate an intersection. And I think a lot of people don't know this. This is what's required. We need to detect cars when they're at the stop bar, which everyone knows. We need to be able to detect them before they get there. We can look at their speed. We can see a few more things in the advanced, but we want to see pedestrians. We want to detect bicycles, maybe even light rail. And then there's some other features that we'll talk about a little later. Okay, so vulnerable road user detection. This is very important. If you take a look at the top right screen, and it's probably hard for you guys to see, you see green, blue, and red. It's actually identifying those pedestrians or vulnerable road users because they're not all walking. Some of them, the green, that says it's a person. It's showing that they're being detected and seen. In the middle, there's a bicycle. And then there's another one in orange that's really hard to see. That's a person using a mobility aid. And it actually knows that it is a person on a mobility aid and not walking or on a bicycle. So that can be very important when you're deciding how long a pedestrian gets to cross a roadway. So using AI, being able to detect things like that, if you have folks that maybe are going to typically move slower through an intersection, then you can adjust your clearance times for pedestrians. And that's very important in areas like this, or even platooning. Of course, large groups of people that are coming off the beach or from an event, you can adjust that walk time. You know what vehicles are. We won't go through that. Just an idea of what actually goes up there. Just like the radar, it's very small. You're probably not even going to see it. There are two cameras that go up in the air on what we call candy canes. And so it's just an arching bracket, and it is a little bubble camera. It's only about this big, so you can't even see it from the ground. So it's not very obtrusive. You can also use the straight fire cameras too in certain situations. This is what goes in the traffic cabinet. I know, really exciting. It's about the size of an encyclopedia. I think everybody in the room here knows what one of those is. So it's, again, it doesn't take up a lot of space. I'm going to skip by this. We're going to get to the fun stuff. So this one, this is a video I want you to watch, and this has a really good overlay so you can kind of get an idea of how the cameras are going to be detecting objects as they move. In the top left-hand corner, you see not only vehicles going through, but you see that little green box, that is a pedestrian up there that is being detected. So as you go to the right, and then the other boxes, you're seeing the phase. That's what we call what color the light is, basically. So we say what phase was the signal in when a car was coming through or when a pedestrian was coming through. And as you can imagine, that's very important if there's an incident. So it's kind of stitching together all of that information that we currently have, but it's in a lot of different areas. And it may be provided currently, but it's in more of a reporting way and not as visual as you would like to see it. So let's go to another one. This one is, okay, so the rest of the videos that I'm going to show you are all here in Gulf Shores, and this is at your demo intersection. So this first one is probably, I'm sure no one has ever seen this happen before. Folks just running out, you know, in the road. Now, you see that red dot that popped up. That's very important. That is the system catching, not only was a pedestrian crossing at the, you know, at the wrong area at the wrong time, but that's what we call a near miss. That car was close enough that the system is saying that could have been really bad. Now, the way we captured this video, when the system detects that there is an incident like this, a near miss or a wrong way or some of the other things we discussed, it will save a video clip 7 seconds before the incident and 7 seconds after. So you have a 14-second clip. So if something were to happen there, we know that that pedestrian was not supposed to be crossing there, was not supposed to be crossing at that time, and we know the reason that it was that they were injured. Now this is one of the heat maps, and this is part of reporting and part of making the information that you typically get in report format more of a visual. So this is, as you see, at the Hangout, and this is just since June 3rd. So this is since we installed this system. And this is the heat map of what we call pedestrian violations, basically where people cross that it's not a crosswalk. And this was very enlightening, actually, because if you look at it from above, and I wish I had a pointer, I can't point to where that large red area is, you see it. That is kind of, when you're looking down from above, an obvious path that people would take. That's not a sidewalk, but they are going from the sidewalk into what's kind of like maybe a delivery area or a drive over there. And this is something that really helps you identify situations like that when you're designing, you're not thinking through. So again, this is not a major high-speed road or a through road even, it just goes into the Hangout, but it is very interesting information to gather, and you see clearly people have a direction that they take no matter how you've designed for it to function. So, okay. So the next three are near miss. And so this first one is a vehicle and a bicycle. And now you may see this and think, so it's showing you the vehicle and the bicycle that were involved in the report. It shows where that could have gone really wrong. It is identifying those because that incident already happened. And it knew, so it's not that it's not detecting other vehicles or other cars. For this situation right here, it's just showing where there could have been a bad situation. Now, the engineers can go in and they can adjust this. They can say, we don't think that that's a near miss. That wasn't close enough. Or we think a speed should be X. That they can modify anything like that that's necessary. Now this one gives you an idea of what a night view is at the same intersection. And this one was almost a lot worse. So you see the cyclist, that Jeep almost clipped the back of that bicycle. So that one was pretty close. Now this is the report that comes from that last incident. And I think that this is where it's really valuable. So you see, we'll start at the top. It was a vehicle and a vulnerable road user, and it was a near miss. The location, the time and date stamp, the speed, the type of near miss, the detection area, and then it defines the users that were involved in this. User A was the vehicle. User B is the cyclist. It even shows the speed in which they were moving and the direction, in which lane they were in. So this is very important information when there is an incident, but hopefully we can avoid most of them by having this information. So this next one, near miss, is a vehicle and pedestrian. Again, a lot of that happening here. Yeah. And this is very common. You all know that. And this angle, we know this angle makes it look, but it's hard to see those folks that are walking out in the lane and in the crosswalk. So this is another heat map, and this is based on, this is just last week, well, week before last. So you see, we can see by 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, but just in 7 days, these are the near misses in the one intersection that you have. That's based on the heat map, which I think is very impressive. But we all know that that's a major intersection. There's a lot of pedestrians there. I understand it's vacation time. But again, it gives valuable insight to preventing really, really horrible situations. So this is a wrong way detection. And again, you know, they were pulling into the entrance of, to the hangout, but it's still not great. That could have been a head-on collision right there. Not extremely high speed, but it's detecting that wrong way and can definitely detect it quicker than a human can detect it. Well, except for the humans inside the vehicles, if there's an incident, of course. So this is another very important feature here. Automated incident detection, which I have talked about several times so far. We want to know if there's a vehicle stopped in the roadway where it shouldn't be stopped. We want to be able to prevent a horrible situation. We want to be able to alert the appropriate agencies or departments or people if someone's facing the wrong way or driving the wrong way, or if they've hit something or someone. But the texting and email of the notifications, and then also communicating through the traffic management system that is already in place. Syntrax has the ability to do that and just kind of increase the level of communication and reporting through the existing infrastructure that already exists. And I think that that's the point. That's what we're focusing on here, is utilizing what is already in place. We're not trying to have AI replace any people or any processes or procedures, only improve them to allow police maybe to know if there are cyclists where they're not supposed to be, or maybe scooters. I know scooters are a fun topic, but if scooters are in a place where they're not supposed to be, it's hard to have officers at one place all the time just to make sure that's not happening. But it'd be great to know what time of day it's a problem, or what time of year. Things like that we can really help with reporting. So there on the right, safety events. This is everything that the system has the ability to detect and look for. Crashes, near misses, with vehicles, with pedestrians, illegal crossings being pedestrians, pedestrian signal violations, which means movements outside of the crosswalks. We need to know if maybe a crosswalk needs to be changed or better signage. Wrong way drivers, red, white light violations. We won't go into that. That is not to send tickets to people. That is not what we do. We are not revenue generating. This is so that we know if timings are causing folks to run lights because maybe their side is not getting service like it needs to be, or maybe it's signage, whatever that may be. It helps the engineers to know what to change. Wrong way drivers, stop vehicle, illegal turning movements, and lane compliance violations. So turning outside of the wrong lane. I know in Mobile we have that. It's horrible. People will pull up in the through lanes to turn in front of all of the folks that have been waiting in line 3, 3 lights just to turn right, and it's infuriating. And so it's good to know what time of day those things are happening, so maybe there could be better police presence. This is just the type of reporting that Jenny is going to love, because she needs this for her safety reporting, but also, like I said, to generate those grant applications. We're all about paying for the additional resources and finding that funding, so it's not taxpayer funded. It's actually funded by the tax dollars that already are going towards the Vision Zero and all of the other efforts to save lives. So I'm gonna pass that off to Jenny so she can tell you what's going on after this.
So with all of that, I hope you saw how excited we are about this new technology. So I wanted to talk just real quick about some of the next steps and things that we are looking at implementing right here in Gulf Shores. So the first one on the list is the Travel Safely smartphone app. And if you're not aware of this, it's something that we're looking at putting in. We're hoping to have it in place early in 2026. We're working on building out the network right now. I have a 1-minute video to show you how it works.
Meet Travel Safely, an app that helps you get where you're going safely. Travel Safely works if you're driving, walking, biking, wheeling, scooting, or skating. Get real-time audio notifications.
Red light.
So you can focus on your surroundings.
Get ready for green.
Travel Safely works with local emergency vehicles, helping them respond to calls faster. Get notified when an emergency vehicle is approaching.
Or when to share the road with your two-wheeled friends.
Cyclist. Vehicle approaching cyclist.
So whether you're on the road or just crossing,
Pedestrian.
Every time you open Travel Safely, you're helping make a better commuting experience for all of us.
download the Travel Safely app today and join our community of users committed to making our roads safer.
This app works with that system?
So this app, we are working on integrating it into all of our systems that we currently have, so that we will take the DERQ system and the EVO system that receive the data, process that through our Centrax system, which is the brains behind it all, and it will integrate with this Travel Safely app. So you can pull the app up on your phone and know what's going on the streetlights around, the signals around you. So it's really great technology. There's some cities in the United States that already use this, obviously, but we want to make sure we're getting up and running in this system as well. So we're working on getting some of our system data over to them as we speak, and they're building that out in their app. And once we have that live, I'll make sure to let everybody know. And you'll be able to download the app on your phone and open it up. Like she said, you can be driving, you can be walking on a bicycle, and it'll help alert you of what's going on around you. So really, really cool technology. On top of that, we are planning to deploy this DERQ system at all of our intersections from Fort Morgan Road South, as well as the new high school when it goes in. It's going to take us years to get that in because obviously funding. So we're going to be looking for grant opportunities to help with that. And as our system ages out or the technology needs replaced, we're going to look at replacing those intersections from Fort Morgan Road South with the DERQ system. We're going to keep the EVO system north of Fort Morgan Road for now and upgrade those systems as we can. A lot of times we'll have one piece of an intersection that needs replaced, and so we'll be able to kind of cobble together that intersection and make things work with the technology that we have, trying to make our money go as far as we can and have a working system at the same time. We're going to continue using the Centrax system as the brains of this whole operation. It's been a really good system for us. It works really well. That adaptive technology is working really well for us in there. And it will incorporate both the DERQ and EVO, as well as talk to that Travel Safely smartphone app. So one other thing that we're working on getting in place is we're going to start, as our pedestrian crossings need replaced, we're going to replace those with the audible technology. So when you push the button and it turns to the little walk guy, you'll actually hear someone say walk. So that's the next level of ADA compliance that we're working towards getting those in place as well. And with that, happy to answer any other questions you have, and want to say a huge thank you for all the support that we've had here, and for Jody for coming in and joining us today to explain that new DERQ technology in a little more detail.
I have a question about the adaptability, and will this self-adjust in real time? And I'm talking about pedestrian, calls for pedestrian crosswalks. You mentioned if it sees someone at the intersection and maybe moving a little slower, if Gary's on crutches because his knee went out, or if we have a large group of people crossing, will it adjust in real time to hold the lights longer to get those? Or is that something we've got to go back in the system and?
It will adjust in real time to Gary on crutches when he's walking slower, and also if you have, two kids that run across the intersection and they've cleared the intersection, you don't have to wait that extra 5 or 10 seconds. It will adjust both of those directions. It can also, we're working with the technology right now to adjust, for identifying people with mobility aids, which the system already does. Also, people pulling wagons. We see a lot of that at the beach. They tend to need a couple extra seconds to get across the street. So we're working on building all of those things in. And that's where that AI technology comes in, because it can recognize whether it's you standing there holding your kid's hand or you standing there pulling a wagon next to you.
And just a note too, I mean, that sounds great if we're just talking about pedestrians, but we also have to take into consideration all of the process that has to be done to not further interrupt the flow of traffic, because it's a great idea until you're the person that's 50 cars back at the light because there's a group of people that just won't stop going. So there is a max time where it would max out, and that can be decided in-house. But that's how we keep everything working together. It's a delicate balance.
If this will detect a crash at the intersection, or like a person on a bike or walking, if they get hit by a car or there's a crash, will this thing shut the intersection down to like give red lights in all direction?
We do have the capability to have it audibly notify E911 immediately.
It can do that
so that they
also.
can also send first responders. They can pull it up on their computer screen, see what's going on at the intersection, send first responders, send the appropriate first responders, and also notify us to manually override the signal if we need to.
Okay.
But just a clarification, it will notify of an incident anywhere in the field of view. It does not have to be at the stop bar or in what we typically call a detection zone. It's anywhere in the field of view of the camera.
Council, anything else? Anybody in the audience, any questions or comments? What a change.
Impressive.
And honestly, huge shout out to Mike Collins, because he really is the heartbeat of this system for the city. If anything goes down, Mike is out there, rain or shine, middle of the night, middle of the day. He is the one taking care of all of our system for us. So he is gold.
Mike, why do you here? Can you give us a little more right-hand turn time at 30? No, I'm serious. This at 36th in the morning for school, coming out of Aventura, trying to turn south on 59. Getting a real short time there, so.
We'll look at that.
Had a lot of questions about that, and I only bring that up because you're standing there. May save you a few phone calls.
Well, thank y'all for being here. Jenny, thank you. Great report. Next on the agenda, Toby, you've got some information on surplus items from Gulf Shores Utilities.
Yes, sir. Gulf Shores Utilities Board is seeking council authorization to dispose of unneeded surplus personal property owned by the Utilities Board. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Toby.
Yes, sir.
A lot of equipment there.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, council, any questions or comments? Anybody in the audience? You can't see this, can you? We don't have anything for them to see.
No, sir.
So,
It'll be on our resolution. That'll be posted probably Thursday when we dispatch the package for next week. This whole list will be on there as well.
and if you were interested in something before this, it's a long list of a lot of stuff. If you were interested in this and wanted, you'd come to our office across the street and we'll print you a copy. You can see all the equipment online?
Is this on the Gov Deals also?
I'm not sure where they display theirs.
Thank you. Jenny, I think you're back up again. You didn't get much rest.
Last one tonight, I promise. So this is a resolution to adopt our 2026 transportation plan, which makes us eligible for House Bill 2 Rebuild Alabama Gas Tax Funds. So in 2019, the Alabama legislature passed a statewide gas tax to help with transportation and infrastructure funding. And there are 8 criteria listed here that have to be fulfilled by public agencies in order to be eligible to receive those funds. One of those at the top of the list is to adopt an annual transportation plan by August 31st. So that's what we're here to talk about tonight. The rest of the things on this list are things that we take care of in-house and make sure we get the appropriate documents to the appropriate entities at the appropriate dates. We make sure that we use ALDOT contractors and material suppliers to implement those things and publish and open bids according to law. We use Bonfire Procurement Portal to post all of those bids, and we follow all the state bid laws.
Thank you, Jenny. Councilman, any questions, comments? Anybody in the audience? Anything? Jenny, thank you. Shelby? Purchasing matter?
Evening. Yes, sir. So this is the new purchasing manual. We're making some minor procedural changes. The only notable change is that the mayor and city administrator's threshold for contract execution is going up to $29,999.99. This brings your execution power up to the bid threshold, which is $30,000. So this creates this mitigates a gap that was created by the last purchasing manual change. This has already been reviewed and approved by the Finance Committee, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Shelby, thank you. Council, any questions? Audience, anybody? Another one.
Yes, sir. This is to declare 2 items surplus. One of them is a 2008 Chevrolet Express van that we will be donating to the Gulf Shore City School System at their request. And the other is a 2008 Freightliner dump truck that will be available on GovDeals if approved next week. It will be available September 2nd.
Council, any questions for Shelby? Audience, anybody? Okay, Scott?
Good afternoon. We have a zoning text amendment to consider. This is for some changes to the parking requirements within the Waterway Village Overlay District. As a reminder, the purpose of Waterway Village is to be an activity center to serve the residents within and nearby and visitors with good services, shopping, eating, worshiping, recreating opportunities. There was a parking committee that's been meeting for several months now, made up of elected officials, appointed officials, staff members, and these recommendations came out of their discussions and their meetings. The first proposed change is the distance allowed to be considered for parking from a proposed site. So right now, for at least for a local parking demand study, if a proposed development's coming, they can look to parking within 750 feet of the proposed site and potentially utilize that for their parking required. This change extends that search area to 1,320 feet, which is a quarter mile, roughly a 5-minute walk. And it puts some qualifications on who may prepare that study. So someone who has some qualifications like an engineer, architect, or planner. Another proposed change is to allow for on-street parking in front of and near a proposed site. So this language will allow on-street parking within 200 feet of a proposed building to be served. And it puts some qualifications on how that on-street parking is developed. It needs to be paved, it must be safe, no pedestrian obstructions, and not creating issues with fire department apparatus access. This is similar to an earlier change. This relates to public parking credits. So if in the city-owned lot or within city right-of-way, this extends that search area from 750 feet again to that 1,320 or quarter-mile zone. And there's an additional last section, I believe, proposed to be changed is it codifies where the money goes for any parking credits or parking purchases in public parking. So it sets up a fund that will be used for land acquisition, design, engineering services, and construction costs, but not maintenance. And it does clarify that parking credits may be purchased for developments, but it doesn't mean you have a reserved spot. So you can't go put your name on the on-street parking or within the city's parking lot. This is just a map to kind of visualize the change in search area. So that kind of teal blue highlight is the city's parking lot at East 24th and Gulf Avenue. The blue, the inner circle, is a 750-foot radius from the parking area. The pink is 1,320 quarter-mile radius. So you can see it opens up a lot more properties to utilize the city parking lot in the Waterway Village overlay. Like I said at the beginning, these proposed changes come from the city internal parking committee discussions. We are also in the midst of a parking study. The city council authorized us to hire Kimley Horn and Associates recently. They've already begun the study. They have been out, they've flown their drone, they've done parking counts on both weekend and weekdays. In fact, right now they are preparing a survey. So for mayor and council and the public, be on the lookout. The next couple of weeks, we'll utilize city social media, but we will be sending out a survey that will be asking residents, people who work there, and people who visit. So really everybody to provide some feedback on their parking experience and parking desires in the Waterway Village area. So please be on the lookout and please participate in that. The Planning Commission heard this proposed change at their July 22nd meeting, held a public hearing, and then voted to recommend, and staff also recommended the approval. Again, since this is a zoning text amendment, it will not be on next week's agenda. It'll have to go through the advertising period, so it'll be on a following meeting after that. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Scott. Council, any questions, comments?
So this is for the Waterway Village there?
Yes, sir.
So basically, this is, in other words, if a business is required X amount of parking spots, if they're within 1,300 feet, they can count the city parking lot?
At least part of it, or potentially, yes, sir. It's the words are they may. So it would be case by case. It'll typically come to the city council. So yes, I guess to answer your question, yes, they can use the city parking lot, but again, we'll look at it case by case.
Okay, so this isn't like written in stone that.
Right, it'll still go through the review process. It'll still come to city council for Waterway Village.
Now, is there any amount of businesses that can use that, or is that up to us?
Yeah. So that will be up to the reviewing authority. So typically the city council in this.
Okay,
this case.
so we have that. Okay.
And let me mention, I meant to say this. So this does do some intermediate changes. At the end of the parking study that Kimley Horn's doing, we will most likely be coming back with some more changes. Part of their contract is to offer or propose changes, whether it's zoning ordinance or just more parking and where it needs to be. So I wouldn't be surprised in a few months if you see me back or one of us back to offer more changes. I know I communicated with the citizen earlier. She had some questions about it. So this is one change of and potentially more in the future. So I think that study will tell us a lot.
Thank you, Scott. Council, anybody else?
I do. Scott, over in the Waterway at present, we have limited amount of parking over already that the city has.
Yes.
Okay. So is any of that designated to this businesses using it now? I can't remember.
Well, we have the city lot, of course, there below the bridge, and then the city's installing or has installed a lot of on-street parking most recently. More's coming with the pedestrian bridge project. I think that'll be this fall maybe. And then, of course, the city's pursuing even more parking and some grant funding maybe next year. But
My question was, if we get, that was created as a walking district.
yes, sir.
And to add restaurants and different things. But if we're not increasing the parking and giving it to them, then people that want to come there and eat for the overflow, we got to be careful there that we don't potentially let some restaurants use more than we're going to have. I don't
Oh,
know.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll track that. I think some of our initial impression is some of it's, there is a lot of parking out there a lot of people don't know about. So that'll be part of the study is potentially wayfinding and informational out there. But yes, sir, part of it we will be tracking internally where or how much parking is utilized by various developments as they come in.
I think as that revitalized, there'll be more restaurants there, and so we'll have to watch
Yes, sir. That's
what
certainly
we
the hope.
kind of do, you know?
Yes, sir.
Will this allow a new business to be able to decrease the amount of parking they have to build because of the access to some of the parking around?
Yes, sir. That's the idea, is to reduce some of the required on-street park, or I'm sorry, on-site parking. So,
But that will still have to be approved by us.
yes, sir. I think most site plans
It's
in
not
the
like by
Waterway Village-
right type thing.
Yes, sir. I mean, the language allows a lot of parking, but it will still come to you, or if it's small enough, the staff will review it. But
Yeah, because
it's not just an immediate
get
automatic.
enough businesses there, there won't be enough parking if everybody takes a decreased parking on their business, counting on the public parking, and then eventually that's gonna run out. So we have to plan for the future on that.
Yes, sir. That'll be part. We'll be tracking that. And I will say a lot of it is we're hoping to encourage bicyclists, golf cart parking. Even that was discussed, and of course improving pedestrian facilities so those who live within walking distance will feel safer and more comfortable walking instead of driving. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Robert, go ahead.
I think it's gonna take a lot of oversight. We're not making any more land, so all we've got is all we've got, and making sure that we have the opportunity to, if it's gonna be, the city's gotta build stuff outside, that we make sure we got places to build it. I mean, there's a limited amount of parking that we can build, and so, and if it's not on site, then we gotta find a site. So I think it's gonna take a whole lot of monitoring as we go forward.
Yes, sir.
You know, I was going around the world to get to Robert's question, is what I was doing. I went
Understood.
backwards with it.
I knew
but
that.
I figured you was pulling
If I
me out
make
of the
a
barrel.
comment, currently in the Waterway Village District, 50% of your parking is required on-site, 50% required off. By moving the 750 feet distance to 1350, it's just allowing a longer reach for those that are required off-site. For those that are required on-site, they'll be able to count the public infrastructure if it touches their property or within 200 feet of their property. That 200 feet is the extended distance that they can count as if it was built on site. So there's also a provision in today's parking ordinance that says you build 50% and you buy down parking credits for the other 50%. That's what Acme Oyster House did. They bought, I think, 150 parking places credits in the city parking lot, and that is intended to help rebuild the funds so that the city can continue to rebuild. And as we talk about the future, that's what Kenley Horn is going to help us do, come up with a good long-term management plan for how that is funded long-term, where the parking needs to go, and how the district participates. Because obviously the city can't build everybody's parking, and that's not what this is doing. So the buy-down credit part's not changing now. Really, the distance to reach some valid parking is what we're changing now, which in the interim will help some small infill sites develop and help some of those smaller sites along till we get this long-term plan and management plan put in place.
Is there any questions in the audience? I think we've asked a whole bunch of them, but we've got time. Yes, can you walk to the microphone and introduce yourself? We know who you are, but the folks at home do not.
Just a theoretical question here. A facility built prior to all the changes in parking regulation, we have twice as many parking spaces as we need. Is there an opportunity for us to repurpose some of our property and reduce parking, or is that just?
I would think you would. That would just, yeah,
Don't know that I want to, but.
Well, I would think it would be obvious that you'd be able to me.
And I will say, part of the study I know that Kimley Horn's doing, some of the consideration is how to utilize not just the public parking, but the private parking. I know the churches have certainly been a focus because they have typically large parking lots, but that's not limited to just a church. It could be any other facility that has, and it may be based on the time of day that they have excess parking that can be utilized by other users.
Thank you, Scott. Yes, that was the only question from the audience. I got a couple of things off the agenda. Brandon, you've got something for us?
I do, Mayor. I'm gonna go a little outside the norm tonight. Talk about the building department a little bit. First and foremost, I want to thank Mayor and Council for providing me with all the resources over the years to build what I think is one of the best building departments in the Southeast, and might be a little partial, but I didn't go as far as say in the country. And to do that, you know, even given all the resources that I've gotten, you got to have the right people in place. And right now, I've got some of the best people that you could ever put in a building department. And in saying that, you know, it's kind of good and bad, because in the past, having such good people, you know, it's hard to keep them. And recently I was emailed by a friend of mine, well, I thought he was a friend of mine, from the city of Foley, saying he was going to be hiring a building official in Foley. And I knew then that I was probably going to lose one of my inspectors. And after one of my inspectors came to me and told me that he was interviewing, I started prepping a game plan to replace him. So, kind of give you an idea, we've sent an inspector, we lost an inspector one time to go be the building official for the city of Loxley. We lost a building inspector to go be the building official for the city of Robertsdale. And unfortunately for us, and fortunate for the city of Foley, we're losing an inspector, Jonathan Cottis, to go be the next building official for the city of Foley. So, Jonathan, come here for a second. So, Jonathan started working with us almost 12 years ago whenever we implemented the short-term rental inspections. Jonathan was the first inspector that we had doing the rental safety inspections, and did a wonderful job with that. But while he was here, he also learned how to be a building inspector. And over the years, he's grown to be one of the go-to guys for not only residential construction, but also for our commercial projects. And he's taken a lot of certifications, and in the past few years, I placed him into the plans reviewer position. And that's where he's been one of the first to meet with designers, architects, engineers, the contractors, developers, and all those people. And I can assure you, you know, if you have the opportunity or they have that opportunity, they tell you just how much of a benefit Jonathan's been for this department. And, you know, I'm not up here to, you know, congratulate him on leaving us to go be the building official. But I'm up here more so to just say thank you, you know, for not only being a great building inspector, plans viewer, fellow employee, but also a great friend, and what you have contributed to the building department and for the city of Gulf Shores. And wanted to do nothing but wish you the greatest in your next endeavor. So, John, thank you very much.
Brandon, that's a good reflection on you, training your guys up like that and allowing them to blossom.
Well, it could be, but you're also the only common element in those three guys leaving. Just saying.
Brandon, the expectations have not changed. Your department's got to perform without him, and I guess that falls on you.
If you wanted to train them so good, they wouldn't have got the job.
Chief Nettermeyer.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Just want to let the public know, as you are all probably aware, hopefully you are by now, Marine One, our new boat from Metal Shark, has arrived. It is working the waterways here in Gulf Shores with a full-time unit of 2 Marine police officers running it. So far, it's going very well. Now, I will say this, it was way late. We would have liked to have this out in January when we could have addressed some of the spring break issues, some of the sand in my boots and all of that. All that being said, we have it now, and it's out there on the water. One of the city employees sent me, I don't have the slide, I didn't get it to you, Terrence, sent me a nice picture this weekend of the guys out there patrolling the water. So they're out there. They did tow in a, sad to say, a marine resource boat that had run out of gas. So I don't have a picture of that, but there are, Chief Brown in Orange Beach told me when we got established a Marine unit that we were going to get more calls than what we anticipated, and that is absolutely happening. So we have it out there, and hopefully the waters will be safer for our visitors and residents in the meantime.
Do you have a picture of it by any chance?
Now, I had it, yes, and I mentioned that I could talk about this tonight, but I didn't get a for sure verification. We are going to do a media release next week on it, so we'll get plenty out there for everybody to see it, and hopefully, as you all know, the objective here is to get everybody to slow down, especially on the intercoastal, and make those waterways a lot safer than what they currently were.
Good job. Thank you. City Schools, Dr. Aiken.
So Terrence does have a picture for me. Monday morning started off great with Senator Chris Elliott in town, who was donating $130,000 out of legislative funds to the school system. And we'll be announcing next month what exciting project that money's going to. But we appreciate all. Senator Elliott has been very supportive of our school system, and we appreciate it. It's that time of year. Volleyball starts this Thursday in Birmingham, and football kicks off this Friday in Fort Walton. So we're looking forward to that. First home games for both will be volleyball plays McGill Tuesday, and football will be home next Friday playing Mary Montgomery. So y'all come out and support our guys and girls.
Thank you, Dr. Aiken. And I see let Mr. Corcoran go before he could grab the microphone before you did. That opens the opportunity for anyone that's here, wants to make a presentation or have a conversation with the city. The microphone is yours. Come on.
Hey, I'm Laurie Eberly. I usually come with a hard thing to ask you, but this time I just have a good thing to tell you. I spend a lot of time at the Lagoon Pass, and I always worry about the people running across the road to get to the beach because they don't know you can go through the parking lot and go under the bridge to get there safely. I contacted a councilman, Joe Garris, and told him what I was worried about. It's like watching Frogger, and it's mostly people that are renting on the northeast side who don't know there's a safe way to get across the road, and so they're lugging their kids and all their stuff for a day at the beach. Joe contacted Noel, and I think it was only like 10 days later, I go down there, and there are just beautiful signs in the parking lot, on the beach side, and down by the water, pointing the safe way for people to go. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you, thank you. It's always easy to come here and talk to y'all, and I know you don't always agree with me, but when you do, I love it.
Right on all accounts.
My name is Tom Clement. I'd like to address the council and get a vote on this if we can, Mr. Mayor. From the council?
Get a voter list?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. After we get through the presentation, I got some pictures I need to pass out to you.
Did you want to get a voter's list or a vote on what you're about to talk about?
What do you want to talk about?
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
We're not going to be able to do a vote tonight. Tonight is not a council meeting for voting. This is a CAL meeting for discussion. We can vote on it next Monday.
Okay. Okay. My name is Tom Clement. My credentials are I graduated in Auburn 1966 in building science. My first 2 years I worked as in-house engineer for U.S. Air Force and the Northern Pacific Railroad. And after I got my MBA, I started my own general contracting business, working primarily for the Corps of Engineers. Corps of Engineers are very difficult people to work for. And I live in Cotton Cove Drive in Perry Hills, Landon. And I live in Gulf Shores and pay taxes. It's evident by the pavement we have that it has not been worked on since 2002 when you annexed it. So it's time to do something besides look at it. We have problems with the streets deteriorating. We got islands in the road that you can't get by. And so it's gone to that. We deserve and need comfortable streets that you have in front of your house. The children have to walk 0.3 miles to get to the bus. And so it's wintertime. I hate to see those kids out there. And at the same time, I don't know how you're gonna get a fire truck, $500,000 fire truck down that street at night. If the school bus can't get down there, how you gonna get a fire truck down there? So, and I respectfully ask you to repave the roads, take out those islands, and redo the roads there.
I know we've looked at these roads, and I know that they are smaller than standard, and when annexed them in, and so we've got a plan to work to kind of model, but we have to do a lot more than just repave them. They're substandard, and they're small, they're narrow, and these are things that we inherited from the county when you annexed in. So we got some work to do out there. It is on our radar. I can tell you that. We don't have an answer right now, but we are aware. I've been down there personally and looked at it and know exactly where you're talking about. So we are going to figure out a way to do the best we can with what we have there. I don't think it can be a standard city street because of the right of way that we have. The way it was built, it wouldn't have been built that way had it been part of the city. We annexed it in like it is, and we will do the best we can with what we have there.
All due respect, Mr. Mayor, the 2002 when you annexed it, you've had plenty of time to look at it and do something with it, and so it's time. So I don't understand what's on radar. What time period is that?
Mayor, I can just add that we currently have a roadway assessment that's being conducted by a private company. They're looking at every street in the city. That should be done in October, or finished by October. We should get those results in November, and that will give us an idea of what every road in the city will be scored, so we understand what it needs. And so that would help us put together a plan for all of those roads. Now, these particular roads are still county roads. They were never accepted by the city, but they are part of our roadway assessment. The company is going to be looking at these and determining, what they need to come up to standard, and we'll have that answer in November.
How do I adjust my taxes for not having roads in it? I pay city taxes. So how do I adjust my taxes for that?
My understanding was those roads, when that subdivision was developed in the county, that the county itself did not accept the roads at the time they were finished. So as more properties annex into the city, it has been our intention to look at spending some money on that road or assessing that road, but the county never accepted them. So the county's never given them to the city. And our current policy in a subdivision, a new subdivision that builds to our standards, we don't accept those roads until they're at least 50% built out. And so, back in 2002, I would assume there was very little of those homes at that time that had annexed in, but the roads are not ours at this point. And they're not, and the county didn't accept them. So we've got some work to do to assess those roads before we can spend any money out there.
But at the same time, I hate to see our children walk down our roads in wintertime or get your fire truck down there. So it's gotta be up front to do it, I think.
For city engineer Jenny, I think you've been out there and looked at them. Have you got any update? Okay. We've been looking at it, I can tell you that. But it's complicated because of the transition from the county.
I understand.
But it's important.
It's important.
Yep, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
So moved.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes, sir.
So moved. Thank you.